Huh? Too easily words of war become acts of war. We don't know the truth yet. Lord Stark must be told of this.
I don't trust a raven to carry these words.
I'll ride to King's Landing.
No. There must always be a Stark in Winterfell.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction video. Today's discussion will contain spoilers, so please proceed with caution. By now, I am sure most of you are aware of all the recent spoilers that have came out from the King's Landing set in Dubrovnik. I have made 2 different videos in which I gave some of my opinions on what I think is happening there, but I know a lot of you had questions about these recent developments, so I wanted to take the time today to answer some of those questions. The first question is from S. Davis. Cersei doesn't look pregnant, and this is supposed to be episode 5. What do you think? S. Davis is referring to the most recent photos of Cersei and Jon Snow standing together on set. At the end of Season 7, Cersei was still claiming to be pregnant, but in these photos, she does not appear to be showing any signs yet. Just to clarify, these photos aren't from episode 5, these will most likely be from episode 4, since David Nutter is the one seen in some of these photos as well. If Cersei truly was pregnant, you would think she would be showing signs of having a baby bump near the end of next season. I think the answer to this question is fairly simple. Before Season 7 even ended, I was saying Cersei will have a miscarriage, and I still stand by that statement. Cersei will never be able to have children again. In fact, Cersei should have had this miscarriage in the Season 7 finale, but they apparently are saving this for next season. The entire plot leaked last season, and 99.5% of everything that was in that leak came true, except for one thing, and that was Cersei's miscarriage. The leak said she would wake up in a bed of blood during her last scene of the season, and obviously that didn't happen, but I am very confident it will happen next season. Cersei will lose her baby at the beginning of Season 8, and that's why she doesn't appear to be pregnant in these photos. The next question is from Gambino Capo. Will we finally see Howland Reed? I know this is something a lot of people want to know, especially ever since the new photos came out. People believe the man standing next to Jon Snow is Howland Reed, but I have to say I completely disagree. I don't think he looks anything like Howland Reed, nor does his clothes look like something the Crannogmen would wear. Other than that, I would say there is maybe a 25% chance we will see Howland Reed again. As of right now, I don't see what purpose he would serve at this point. I no longer think we need Howland Reed to confirm Jon Snow's parents. People in the North are already taking Bran's word. They killed Littlefinger based mostly on the things Bran said he saw. So if they're willing to take his word for that, then they should believe him when he says who Jon's mother and father is. Plus, Sam has a record of Rhaegar getting an annulment and getting married again. They could probably connect the dots between those records and what Bran says. The only way I could see them bringing back Howland Reed now is if he is important in terms of the endgame. He would need to serve some kind of a purpose to pay him to appear in the last season. There haven't been any casting calls for a man with his description, and they aren't even bringing back Mira Reed, so I think it's very unlikely. But like I said, I will give it a 25% chance, because you never know. I would like to see Howland Reed again, but I haven't seen anything that would indicate we will. The next question is from Skeleton King. Do you think Jon would be ballsy enough to go to King's Landing alone? I know the meme is he's a pretty boy who doesn't put much thought into things, but I don't know, I think more people are there that just haven't been spotted yet. Even if it is to confront Cersei on betraying them, I don't think he'd go do that alone, even if he just wants to talk. Based on what we have seen Jon do in the past, I absolutely believe he would be ballsy enough to go alone. There are more than enough examples that prove Jon is either crazy enough or stupid enough to do something like this.
What are you doing? I promised Mum I'd never lose it again. In case I don't come back.
I didn't come all this way to have my hand murdered.
I don't want Cersei to murder me either. I could have stayed in my cell and saved a great deal of trouble.
I did this. I should go.
She'll definitely murder you.
As you can see, Jon has done things like this before. Even in the Season 7 finale, he wanted to go talk to Cersei alone. But on the other hand, I believe the second part of what you said is more likely to happen. Jon may be seen talking to Cersei alone right now, but I highly doubt he went all the way to King's Landing by himself. There is no way they would allow their king to put himself in this much danger, not if they could help themselves. When Jon had done shit like this in the past, he wasn't the king yet, and when he went beyond the wall, he didn't have enough of his own men around him to stop him. But if Jon goes from Winterfell to King's Landing next season, they're not going to allow him to travel alone. It would be way too dangerous, and everyone knows you can't trust Cersei. So I think you are right, Jon does have some companions with him, but they aren't on the set yet. But they will start popping up soon enough. This next question is from Bianca Funk. In regards to Winterfell being up in flames, do you think the Night King was able to take Winterfell because the Night King is a Stark himself? Just to clarify, I'm not talking about Bran being the Night King, but I mean he's one of the Starks from the past. This is one hell of a question, Bianca, and I am glad you asked me this. I was actually going to make a video that related to this question. I believe the possibilities of this being true are very high. Now, I know the Night King from the show and the Night's King from the books are two different characters, but the one from the show was inspired by the one created in the books. They never would have thought of making the Night King in the show if George didn't already place the building blocks for this character in the books. The Night's King in the book is a Stark, and I have always believed the Night King in the show is a Stark too. I know he didn't have the dark hair color like most Starks do, but over time, not all of the Starks carried the same exact traits anyway. I think they just simply used the same actor that was already wearing the Night King's makeup and costume to save themselves from having to hire a new actor. Plus, we already know you can't put too much stock into hair color anyway. Jon has black hair, but we know he's a legitimate Targaryen. So just because the Night King has sandy brown hair or whatever color that is, it doesn't mean he's not a Stark. I know some of you have your own beliefs, but I can only answer this according to how I feel. So just for the sake of this question, let's say the Night King is a Stark. I think that would explain why the Night King has a strong connection to Bran Stark, and that could also explain why the Night King seems to be taking interest in Jon Snow. What if the Night King's goal is to take back Winterfell? If this Night King is an old Stark from the past, he may feel like he has the right to rule the North, and Winterfell more specifically. He may have been the ruler of Winterfell and the North from the past, and his goal could be to reclaim his seat of power. The Crypts of Winterfell are full of Kings of Winter, and those Kings of Winter are said to have eyes of ice. Ned Stark dreams about this. He would feel the eyes of ice staring at him while he was down there. Jon Snow also has dreams of the Crypts, and the old Kings of Winter are always telling Jon he does not belong there. What if all those Kings of Winter are former Night Kings? And they are telling Jon he doesn't belong there because this new Night King is the rightful ruler of House Stark. Maybe that's what the Night King is coming back to take. If he is a Stark, then Winterfell is his home. Think about what happened when the Night King brought down the wall. When his army went marching through Eastwatch, many people believe the Night King's army was in the shape of a direwolf. And I have to be honest, it does kind of look like the Stark sigil of a direwolf. That could be a big clue as to who the Night King is and where he is heading. The Starks are obviously connected to the others in some way. Their house words are "Winter is coming," and I always believe that is referring to the King of Winter is coming. Ned Stark's Valyrian steel sword is called Ice, and that's a direct connection to the others. In fact, the name Ice is older than Ned Stark's sword itself. That wasn't the first sword the Starks had that was called Ice. That name was passed down from hundreds or even thousands of years ago. It has a deeper meaning than some of us can even fathom right now. If you want to get real crazy, it might be the only sword that is able to slay the Night King. The name could refer to it being the only thing that can stop the ultimate symbol of ice, and that would be the Night King. But just to answer your question, Bianca, I would say yes, the Night King should be able to take Winterfell because he is a Stark himself. But as long as there is a Stark in Winterfell to oppose him, then they should be able to stop him. A Stark must always remain in Winterfell because the King of Winter is coming. The next question is from Aaron O'Donnell. Do you think that Cersei kidnapping Jon could be a way of her luring Dany into King's Landing? Yes, absolutely 100%. If Cersei was able to kidnap Jon Snow somehow, some way, this would leave Daenerys and Jon's supporters no choice but to rescue him. They cannot allow their king to be taken without some kind of repercussions. This is where Jaime Lannister could come into play. Depending how Cersei feels about Jaime leaving her, she might be willing to release Jon if they brought Jaime back to her in chains. Maybe Tyrion too. She would probably trade Jon for Jaime and Tyrion, but there is no way to know right now. I think it's pretty clear that Cersei has been deteriorating psychologically for quite some time now, and once she loses her baby, this will drive her to absolute madness, in my opinion. In that case, she may never free Jon if she was able to capture him, and this could be the reason that forces Dany's hand, and ultimately leads to Daenerys burning King's Landing to the ground. I don't want to spend too much time speculating on this though, because as of right now there is no sign of anything like this happening. But I do agree, if Cersei captured Jon, that would be her way of getting Daenerys to come to King's Landing. I think that could work. This next question is from Miss Coleman. What if Jon never makes it to Winterfell with Daenerys? Like, somehow he goes back to King's Landing by force, or trap, or even discovery of new information after he arrives in White Harbor. I only ask this because I can't see how Jon would leave Winterfell after the attack, especially now that the Night King has Viserion. He barely made it out of Hardhome or trying to get a white soldier. Well, I think Jon has to go to King's Landing at some point no matter what. Even though they have a war against the Night King to worry about first, they still need to remove Cersei from the capital eventually. They can't allow Cersei to continue ruling the way that she has. Cersei is no good for the realm, and she needs to be dealt with. The sooner the better. The problem with these photos coming out is it only creates even more questions that no one can really answer right now. The only thing all of us can do is speculate based on what we know so far and what we believe will happen in the future. Jon probably won't arrive in King's Landing until the end of next season, so technically the Night King could be dead by then. Like I have said in previous videos, I believe Jon is in King's Landing during Episode 4 based on the director who is seen on set with him. Episode 4 should be right after a big battle takes place. Miguel Sapochnik is directing Episode 3, and he directed Hardhome, so we may see a Hardhome type episode during Episode 3. And the Night King may fall in that battle, which would leave the remaining few episodes for Jon and Daenerys to deal with Cersei. I know some people believe Jon went to King's Landing to ask Cersei for help, but I think we should also at least consider that maybe the Night King is already defeated by then. There is only 6 episodes next season, and 2 out of those 6 episodes will be big battles. Most likely Episode 3 and 5, since Miguel is directing those ones. I think we could see the Night King fall during one of those battles, and Cersei fall during the other battle. Since the Night King is so close already, he might be the first one to go. The next question is from Shadow, and she says, if they escape through the crypts, they will have to clear the blockage down there. What do you think they may find, and will it play a part in the Battle of Winterfell? In the depths is where the Kings of Winter are buried, and if Winterfell has magic that was used to build it, how could it play a role in this battle? Could the crypt section be magically protected like a bomb shelter against the Whites? These are some very good points and interesting questions here, so I will try and answer this one at a time. The first part of this question is referring to the photos of Jon Snow and King's Landing. Some people believe they may have had to have fled Winterfell due to the Night King's attack. So would they need to clear the blockage down in the crypts if they use them to escape? For those of you that don't know, there are several sections to the Crypts of Winterfell, and there is a section that is partially collapsed that no one ever visits. And many people believe something could be hidden in that part, which might be true. But I don't think they necessarily have to take that exact route to escape. There are other secret passageways they could use to escape Winterfell. If you remember at the end of Season 2, Maester Luwin told Theon about these secret tunnels.
All his past crimes are forgiven.
I won't make it to the wall. I won't make it 10 feet past the Winterfell gates.
There are ways. Hidden passageways, built so the lords of Winterfell could escape.
Maester Luwin was trying to help Theon escape Winterfell before the Boltons caught him and did God knows what to him. When he told Theon he could sneak out of the castle, he didn't mention anything about it being blocked off, so I don't think they would need to worry about the collapsed portion of the crypts. They could possibly use it like a bomb shelter if need be. The Crypts of Winterfell are the oldest part of the castle. They were built before the castle itself. It is said that Brandon the Builder and the Children of the Forest are the ones who made them, so they could have the same type of magic that the Wall and the Three-Eyed Raven's Cave had. It might prevent the others from being able to enter them. The only thing is, we don't know exactly how strong this magic still is. The Three-Eyed Raven's Cave was destroyed, and the Wall was destroyed. It's also not entirely clear if Bran's mark from the Night King is still working. Since the dragon destroyed the Wall, he might be able to destroy Winterfell and its crypts. But if there is always a Stark in Winterfell, they may be able to counteract some of this magic. Especially a powerful Stark like Bran. But then again, if the Night King is a Stark, he may be able to counteract that magic. It's a very slippery slope right here, and it's even harder to predict when all of the rules aren't exactly clear. If I had to give a definitive answer, I would say the Night King will be defeated before he is able to completely destroy the castle. The Starks know winter is coming, and there are several of them remaining in Winterfell now. With all of them combined, I believe they will come out on top. Ned Stark once said the winters are hard, but the Starks will endure. We always have, and I believe they always will. I can't think of a better quote to end the video on, so I will end this one right here. I want to thank everyone for their great questions, and I appreciate everyone for taking the time out of their day to watch the video. I also have to give a huge thanks to everyone who continues to support this channel on Patreon. I love you all, and I hope each and every one of you have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.